Hi guys, this is IGCSE O-Level Chemistry, paper 22, June 2017, question 1. Small crystals of purple KMnO4, Mr158, and orange K2Cr2O7, Mr294 were placed at the center of separate petri dishes filled with agar jelly. They were left to stand under the same physical conditions. After some time, the color of each substance had spread out as shown. The lengths of the arrows indicate the relative distances traveled by particles of each substance. Which statement is correct? So, according to the length of the arrow, KMnO4 diffused more than K2Cr2O7. Diffusion is faster in dish 1. Yes, because the mass of the particles is greater. No, because the mass of particle is smaller. Diffusion is faster in dish 2. No, because the mass of the particles is greater. Again, no. Diffusion is slower in dish 1. This is incorrect because the mass of the particle is smaller. Mass of the particle is smaller is correct, but diffusion should be faster. So diffusion is slower in dish 2. Yes. Because the mass of the particle is greater. Yes. Therefore, option D is the correct option for this question. Question 2. Impurities change the melting and boiling points of substances. Sodium chloride is added to a sample of pure water. How does the addition of sodium chloride affect the melting point and boiling point of water? So, the melting point of water is 0 degrees Celsius and the boiling point of water is 100 degrees Celsius. Presence of sodium chloride would cause the melting point to decrease. That means it would melt at temperatures lesser than 0 degrees Celsius and the boiling point would increase. That means it would boil at temperatures greater than 100 degrees Celsius. So the melting point should decrease, which eliminates options A and B, and the boiling point should increase, which eliminates option D and makes option C the correct option for this question. Question 3. The diagram shows a chromatogram of 4 substances. Which substance has an RF value of approximately 0.32? So the distance traveled by the solvent is 19 centimeters, which would be the denominator, and the distance traveled by the solute would be the numerator in order to calculate the RF value. So we'll start with the one with the least distance traveled, which is by spot C. So the RF value for spot C would be 4 upon 19, which gives us a value of 0.21. So this is not the spot they have asked for. Let's move on. The next one is spot A. For spot A, the numerator would be 6 and the denominator would be 19. This gives us a value of 0.32, which is the spot that the question is looking for. Therefore, the correct answer for this question is option A. However, we are not going to look at the values for spots B and D because since this is a numerical question and we have obtained the correct answer here, the RF values for spots B and D would definitely be greater than 0.32 and they are not the correct answers for this question. Therefore, option A is the correct option for this question. Question 4. Which element does not form a stable ion with the same electronic structure as argon? So a stable ion with the same electronic structure as argon. So argon belongs to period 3 and so does aluminum, chlorine, phosphorus, but potassium belongs to period 4. So aluminum forms Al3 positive ion, chlorine forms Cl negative ion, phosphorus forms P3 negative ion, and potassium forms K positive ion. So the electronic configuration for aluminum by losing 3 electrons would be 2 and 8. For chlorine, it would be 2, 8, 8. For phosphorus, it would be 2, 8, 8. And for potassium, it would be 2, 8, 8, and for argon, the electronic configuration is 288. So the only one that does not have the same electronic configuration as argon is the Al3 positive ion. So option A is the correct option for this question. Question 5. Graphite and diamond are both forms of the element carbon. Which row shows the number of other carbon atoms that each carbon atom is covalently bonded to in graphite and diamond? So in graphite, a single carbon is bonded to three other carbon atoms because there is one electron that is available for the conduction of electricity, which is not the case in diamond because all the four carbon atoms have formed covalent bonds with other carbon atoms. So no electron is available for conduction of electricity. So since graphite has three carbons forming covalent bonds, this eliminates option C and D. And since diamond forms four covalent bonds, it eliminates option A and makes option B the correct option for this question. Question 6. Which statement describes metallic bonding? The attraction between a lattice of negative ions and delocalized protons. First of all, there is no negative of lattice ions. And second of all, protons are not delocalized. So this statement is 100% incorrect. The attraction between a lattice of positive ions, yes, and delocalized electrons, yes. This is the definition of metallic bonding. So this is correct. Next, the attraction between delocalized protons and electrons. Protons are never delocalized. The attraction between oppositely charged ions, this is what is an ionic bond. Therefore, the correct option for this question is option B. Question 7. Which equations are balanced? So equation 1 has 2 iron on the left and 2 iron on the right. It has 6 oxygen on the left and 6 oxygen on the right. It has 3 carbon on the left and 3 carbon on the right. So equation 1 is balanced. Equation 2 has 1 zinc on the left and 1 on the right. It has 1 carbon on the left and 1 on the right. It has got 3 oxygen on the left and 3 oxygen on the right. It has got 2 hydrogen on the left, but 4 hydrogen on the right. So because of the additional hydrogen, this equation becomes incorrect. Next, magnesium nitrate plus NaOH. So 1 Mg on the left, 1 Mg on the right, 1 Na on the left, 2 Na on the right. So because of the additional sodium, this equation becomes incorrect. And for the last one, we've got 1 calcium on the left, 1 calcium on the right, 1 carbon on the left, 1 carbon on the right, 2 hydrogen on the left, 2 hydrogen on the right, 7 oxygen on the left, and 7 oxygen on the right. 1 sulfur on the left, 1 sulfur on the right. So this equation is balanced as well. Since equations 1 and 4 are balanced, option B is the correct option for this question. Question 8. Calcium carbide reacts with water to form ethine and calcium hydroxide. The equation for the reaction is shown. Which volume of ethine is produced when 6 grams of water react completely with calcium carbide? So the MR of water is 18. So 6 upon 18 will give us a value of 0.33. So moles of water is 0.33 and the molar ratio of water to ethine is 2:1. So the moles of ethine would be half of 0.33, which is 0.167. So the moles of ethine are 0.167. 1 mole of any gas at RTP occupies a volume of 24 dm cube. So 0.167 moles would occupy a volume of 0.167 upon 1 into 24, which is equal to 4 decimeter cube. This makes option A the correct option for this question. Question 9. Which statement about electrolysis is correct? Electrons move through the electrolyte from the cathode to the anode. No, electrons move through the wires, not the electrolyte. So this is incorrect. Next, electrons move towards the cathode in the external circuit. Yes, anode is where oxidation takes place, so electrons are removed from the anode. and they move towards the cathode through the wires which is in the external circuit. So this is correct. Next, negative ions move towards the anode in the external circuit. Negative ions move towards the anode. Yes, in the external, no, in the electrolyte. So external circuit is incorrect. Positive ions move through the electrolyte towards the anode during electrolysis. No, positive ions will move towards the cathode in the electrolyte during electrolysis. Therefore, the correct option for this question is option B. Question 10. The reactivity series for a number of different metals is shown. So the most reactive metal in the series is magnesium and the least reactive is platinum. The diagram shows different metal strips dipped into an electrolyte. Which pair of metal produces the highest voltage? So this would be the pair with the greatest difference in reactivity. So copper and magnesium has a good difference in reactivity, but let's compare the others. Magnesium and platinum, they are at the extreme ends of the given reactivity series. So they would have the maximum difference. So this should be the correct answer. Next, magnesium and zinc, they are next to each other in the reactivity series. So the voltage would be the lowest here, and silver and platinum are also closest to each other. The voltage for these would be lower than that for magnesium and zinc because they are the least reactive metals in the given series. Therefore, option B is the correct option for this question.